My brothers and sisters, it's been a minute. How is everyone? You all hanging in there? It's been a couple years since I posted my last videos. The last one's concluding my journey to work with and study with the Hopi in what I call the return path, which brings us into full circle, or the return of what we are experiencing today. I want to touch specifically on a topic that's on a lot of people's minds, in a lot of hearts, and that is our return to authentic experience, or return to our humanity. And it seems to be causing a lot of division and duality and suffering in our society. And I felt like maybe this would be a good topic to touch on, just to share my experience. I've been on this planet for a few decades now, and all I can do is share my experience and some of the wisdom that has been shared with me. And hopefully that'll inspire you and help you along your journey. So my last videos, as mentioned, were focused on the return path specifically. And if you want to know anything about my history and past, my past work and what's brought me to today, check out my YouTube channels, specifically the playlist of the return path. And then I also have a series of other videos that explain my past history and what brought me to that moment. So the return path, just to give you a little brief explanation, is a culmination of teachings, messages, warnings, and prophecies that I received from Hopi. And then also different pieces of ancient cultures and wisdoms that I've brought together through Native American traditions, through the Tibetan people, and through Tibetan traditions, Buddhism, and so on. I just want to kind of bring that full circle into the present and just sort of reflect on how it all relates and what's brought us to this moment. So my name is Chris Kawak. Kawak means storm in the Maya language, and it's a nickname, a medicine name that's been given to me by many of my friends and allies. So yeah, we're going through a huge purification, externally as well as internally. Externally, specifically, something that I touched on with respect to the Hopi and the purification by fire. We've seen it happening all over the planet for the last 5 to 10 years, slowly but surely increasing in size and severity. And it's something that they foretold a long time ago. It's just one of the many changes that we have to adapt to, as well as do our best to correct. So these are both man-made as well as a result of solar cycles and earth changes. And then there's this purification that we're also going through internally. And we're realizing that a lot of the things that are important to us in life are fading. For example, authentic connection. When's the last time that you just pick up the phone, dialed a number, and called somebody without texting them, without posting messages on Facebook or Instagram or X or whatever social media platform you happen to use? You know, when's the last time that you set up a time to actually meet in person, share a meal, or go camping together or travel together? We're really starving for these authentic connections, both with family and friends. And this artificial fake reality that we live in nowadays through social media, everybody posting their highlight reels, putting their best foot forward, looking their best, looking their greatest. You know, we always have this sort of superficial fake identity, personality, or product that we present to the world. So we're really starving for that authentic connection, and I think that's a thing that is really bothering a lot of people right now, and people that are really feeling it are starting to communicate it by saying, you know, I quit, or I'm done, you know, I'm moving on. And a lot of people are starting to actually even go further, because this process is pushing them in the direction where they need to make the change, where they're quitting their jobs or careers, they're moving, they're going on some sort of nomadic tour, maybe even moving to a foreign country. So we're feeling the fakery. If anything, we should learn from our past. You know, the past was yesterday and the future is unknown. All we have is the present, but at the same time, we can learn from our past. For example, past mistakes, right? But also past joys, things that bring us happiness and joy. And, you know, when I was a kid, we would never be home, especially during the summer. We'd be out on our bikes, we'd be out hiking, we'd be out swimming. In our neighborhood, we even had neighborhood Olympics. All the kids in the neighborhood would gather together and we'd compete. We'd have pool games, we'd have cycling, we'd have running, we'd have different forms of tag and capture the flag and all these different things. Action music was a big thing for me and still is. You know, we're going back to that authentic connection, and there's that need to really like rediscover or reconnect with our humanity. You know, how many friends, for example, on Facebook do you have that are actually your friends, that you've actually spent time with and know something about their history, their character, their life? How many of those people, right? That's just an example. We need to shut down the noise. All the politics, the technology, the wars, the duality, the conflict, religious division, left and right, border issues, racism, like all this duality is just, it's actually saddening and sickening to watch, but it's all just noise. A lot of this system is set up to create conflict and division. When we're unified, we're powerful. We have a voice. We can create change. When we're divided and conflicted and always warring against each other, we're not united. We have no power. And that's exactly what they want. They want us to be distracted. So you need to shut down the noise and go from your heart into your inner knowing and trust. In fact, get out of your head and into your heart and feel what it is to have a genuine connection. Feel what it is to reconnect with your instinct. Feel what it is to rediscover and experience true friendship, true connection. One way we can really discover a clear perspective on life, including ourselves, including our own experiences, is becoming the observer. Seeing the bigger picture, pulling yourself away from the identity of who you think you are and just observing, you know, for example, questioning yourself, looking at a specific incident, a challenge or pain or trauma, whatever it might be, and go within and really step outside the box and look at it from the observer perspective. Why am I having this experience? Why am I dreaming this up? What am I here to learn? What reflection is this showing me? How can I grow from this? What is the root cause of the suffering or the challenge? What are all the factors that have played into this experience that have created this in the first place? You know, one thing that I think a lot of people come to a place of resentment or regret through is not living the life that they want to live, not exploring their dreams, not fulfilling their happiness, and sacrificing too much of that. For example, you're in a job that you hate, or working for an employer that you can't stand, or living in a place that you don't resonate with, or living or leading a lifestyle that you're not content with, that you're not happy about. You need to make choices. And a lot of people like to procrastinate and push things off and are afraid of making choices because they're afraid of change. But you need to make the choice. And that's the first step in creating the alchemy. So for example, what would it take for you to find a different career? What would it take for you to create and manifest the lifestyle or the life that you want? What would it take for you to bring in, call in, or manifest a partner in your life that you resonate with, that inspires you? What would it take for you to take the opportunity to travel, to discover new countries and cultures. Whatever that is that would bring you that contentment and happiness, what would it take? What decisions do you need to make? So for example, I felt the calling to dive into indigenous teachings, culture, medicine ways. And so slowly but surely, I created a lifestyle where I had the independence of being a freelancer and working in careers that were seasonal, including concerts, music, entertainment, film, hosting and producing events, and so on. And then also being able to travel in the winter months, in the fall and winter months, to connect with my elders and teachers. And so by scaling back my life, scaling back my expenses, simplifying, selling the things that I don't need, letting go of that sense of false security, and trusting myself, I slowly but surely shaved away all that didn't serve me so that I could slowly create the reality that I wanted. And it's not easy, especially being a freelancer. Being a freelance worker, there's ebbs and flows. Sometimes you have work, sometimes you don't. You take it while you get it. And sometimes it's incredibly abundant. That's just the way it goes. But that's part of the sacrifice and the acceptance of the process, right? A lot of us, for example, when it comes to that sort of change, we're afraid of letting go. And it's because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust ourselves to be able to either sustain ourselves financially, go to places that we've never discovered or visited before, or potentially learn a foreign language, explore a path or a journey that's been calling you for your whole life. That involves a tremendous amount of change. And so it takes courage and sacrifice, letting go, trusting. It's work finding work. It's work creating the lifestyle that you want. It's not easy. It takes effort, right? So that's the first step. Right now, in this current moment, I too am feeling the squeeze economically. Our country, or countries, it's being felt all over the world, are suffering economically. We're seeing 1930s figures of unemployment and economic collapse, record numbers of bankruptcies. There's so many things at play right now. So you just got to dig in. You got to try hard. Keep your eye on the prize. Don't give up. Quitting's easy. It's simple to quit. Okay? It takes a warrior or warrioress. It takes courage to continue and pursue and not to give up. Our imaginations create our reality. And through our imagination and our creativity, we literally create our reality. Okay? And it all starts in your mind. It all starts in your head. So the first step is to get your head right. Figure out what it is that's going to make you happy. What it is that's going to bring you good health. What it is that inspires you. What it's going to take for you to create, dream up, and manifest that life that you want. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's taken me over 25 years to create this. Some people it'll take a lifetime. Some people it might take only a couple years. But be patient and trust. Trust yourself. Trust your heart. Trust Creator. Trust nature. Trust cycles, all of it. Get outside, get into nature, sit underneath a tree, get away from the noise, and give yourself a chance to reconnect with your soul, with your spirit, with your soul essence, so that you can hear yourself. Listen to that. Trust it. It's real. So yeah, the struggle, the challenges, working, creating, building, manifesting, it gives us significance and purpose. So this universal income or this idea of you'll have nothing and like it. The simplification of streamlining your life and simplifying will bring you to the point where that doesn't matter. That agenda is irrelevant. All the earth changes, all the changes with the economy and politics and everything. This preparation and sacrifice and change that you're willing to embark on in your life will prepare you for those things. It will help you adjust. It'll help you adapt so that as these things progress and as they begin to increase, it won't affect you as much. It's not going to be such a profound impact. It'll just roll off you like water on a duck. I've been preparing for these times that we're experiencing right now my entire life. I had dreams about this happening since before I was born into this body. I share a lot of that in my previous videos. Listen to your instinct, listen to your dreams, listen to your intuition. It's our God-given gifts. This is what we're built for. We're built for change. Imagine all the evolution, the consciousness, the development, the growth, our abilities, technologies, all the things that we've achieved, from fire to making tools out of stones, to hunting, to the Industrial Revolution, to now AI and digitization of society. We are capable of anything. We are omnipresent, unlimited, doubly infinite beings. We have unlimited potentiality. We are emanations of Creator. We are gods and goddesses. Let go of the fear of unknowing. You need to trust. A lot of our fear collectively comes from death fear. It's rooted in death fear. When we are subconsciously afraid of death, there's this sense of urgency all the time, which leads to scarcity consciousness, because we want to accomplish everything before time runs out. So that includes having enough time, having enough love, having enough connection, having enough authentic experience, having enough money, having enough toys, a house, a car, status, recognition, a legacy. There's always enough. The earth provides. There's enough food if we all just share. We can grow more food than we could ever consume if we actually utilized the earth in better ways than we do, rather than covering it in pavement and concrete, or having acres and acres of parklands of grass. So with respect to food and abundance, there is more than enough to go around, and we're just being irresponsible stewards in the way that we're conducting ourselves as societies. Nobody should be going hungry. Same thing with love. There is always an abundance of love. You can't run out of love. The universe is constructed out of love. It is the force that binds us all. Look at it as gravity. It's the force that holds everything together. Right? Same thing with money. I know millionaires, and I'm sure that some of you might even know billionaires, that are not happy regardless of how much money and materialism they've acquired. It's a tool. It helps us create, manifest, and build the things that we want in our lives, but it will not make you happy. Happiness comes from inside. We create our happiness through the lives, the paths, and experiences that we choose. But there's always enough to go around. We have unlimited amount of potentiality with our creativity and our imaginations. There's people that have houses, for example, and they want to have a bigger house or a better lawn or more toys. I joke around with friends sometimes when I've helped friends move. They start off with a smaller place, and then the next time they move, they have a bigger place. Well, then they get the bigger place, they get more toys and more things. And then they decide to move again. And then we get a bigger truck to move them into a bigger place so they can store their toys and get more things, more possessions. And it's just this endless loop, never-ending cycle. of never enough. Corporations operate in the same way. Technically, on a psychological analysis, corporations operate as a psychopath. There's never enough. It's like a machine out of control, just constantly consuming. There's never enough. It's never ending. And due to the fact that they have no accountability to the public as a person and only their shareholders, it's completely out of control because the only focus is profit, profitability, and growth. This scarcity consciousness drives the fear in our society, which is all rooted in death fear. Death is not a finite experience, it's an infinite experience. Same thing with life. I like to refer to it as birth and rebirth rather than birth and death. Nothing lasts forever, but at the same time, when we're talking about the physical, it refines itself, it recycles itself, it composts. But when it comes to the spirit, the soul, experience, memory, it's infinite. So this is what I mean when I say that we're doubly infinite beings. We're physical and we're angelic. So we have a finite body, physical, and then we have a doubly infinite soul or spirit, which is angelic. The only difference is here on Earth, in this physical plane of the 3D, we have abilities that angels don't have, which are our senses, feeling, instinct, these emotions that are tied to our senses, right? They have very limited experience in comparison to humans. Human means God being. So this is what they mean in various teachings and scriptures when they talk about that we are an emanation or reflection of Creator God itself, right? Because we are human, we are God beings. So believe in yourself. There is no limitation. I have my struggles just like everybody else. I have my challenges. Journey inward. Create a discipline for yourself. This idea of meditation and having a practice every day is not foo-foo, new age nonsense. It's ancient wisdom that has been around for thousands and thousands of years. In fact, the practice of Buddhism alone has probably been around for about 50,000 years, maybe longer. And there are so many different practices that can bring us into that presence. We use these tools to shut down our minds, to shut down the noise, to bring us back into presence, to bring us back into our authentic nature, right? It's a tool. Use it. When you're thinking about manifesting something, you want to bring something, you want to call something into your life, the first step is setting your intention. What is it that you want to create or manifest? The second one is focus. What is it that you're focusing on? Because whatever you focus on is where the energy goes, right? Energy flows where your attention goes, right? And then the third part of that is action. So it takes intention, focus, and action to create or manifest anything. Those are the three basic principles of alchemy. So you can sit around and feel and meditate and envision and focus on whatever it is that you want to create in your life. But if you're not willing to step in, lean in, and take the actions that are necessary to make that a possibility, to show the universe that you're committed, to actually living it, to not only feeling it, but actually living it as if it's already happening, it will never happen. So dive deep into your heart, gather up your courage, set your intention, get focused, and take action. That's how it happens. Like I said, it's not always easy. It comes with sacrifice. It ebbs and flows. But for the most part, I am happy. And I've said many times I could die tomorrow and I would be very content and happy with my life. At the end of the day, I share this with my kids. You're accountable to nobody but yourself. So let's say that you're at the end of your life cycle and you're looking in the mirror, you're reflecting inward, and you're asking yourself, how do I feel about my integrity, my ethics in life, how I've conducted myself, my relations? If you can look at yourself in the mirror and feel content and know that you've done your best, you've put your best foot forward, and you've walked in integrity, that's all that matters. So be real, be truthful to yourself, live authentically, follow your intuition, follow your instinct. That's what's going to get you there. Live your hero story. Everybody has a hero story. Be your own hero. Create the adventure that you want. Do the things that you've always dreamt of. Another thing that really helps us on our journeys, discovery of significance, is being in service. If you believe in oneness consciousness, which I do, and through quantum physics and quantum entanglement, then you know that everything is connected and we are all one. So, if you dedicate your life to being in service, to helping others, you're ultimately helping and serving yourself. And it's a reciprocal feedback loop that keeps coming back. And so that abundance, those gifts, that service that you continue to offer and provide to others will continue to come back to you. That's just universal law. So take joy and pride in serving others and being in service, and that same energy will come back to you tenfold. I promise you. So yeah, stop looking outward. You remember, the revolution will not be televised. The revolution is from within. It starts inside. We're creating our reality with our mind. So we got to get our heads straight, set our intentions, focus, and get into action. Be courageous. Live your truth. Be authentic. Stop searching for approval. Stop searching for that fake dopamine hit. You don't need acceptance from people you don't even know. The likes. Shut down the noise. Get your dopamine hits from true, authentic experience, like expressing love, being in service, being active, connecting with nature. Please offer some comments. You can contact me. My contact information is here on the page. Comment down below if you have anything to add. If there's anything that you'd like to have me talk about or address or discuss, please suggest it. Please like and subscribe. It just helps get the information out to as many people as possible, which is my primary intention here. I hope this finds you inspired. I truly send my love out to each and every one of you. I wish you all the best on your journey, and we will see you again soon. Blessings in Lakesh. Much love.